Welcome, everyone, to another riveting, personal, and frankly boisterous episode of Good Morning Tone Town. I'm one of your co hosts, Alex, better known as Super Danger.
I'm your other co-host, also known and always known as Tom.
Welcome, and let's all play the nice A chord together in 3, 2, 1.
There it is.
Tom, I'm
Not bad.
sure you know the talk of the town, or at least the talk of Tone Town, is Ross Petals is closing.
They have, yes, they are, and arguably have, based on what I saw on the website and the availability of the blowout sale.
So I haven't checked in yet, but I want to snag one of their compressors because I know that's like their hot pedal. Um,
I'm only thumbs downing because it's too late.
you're kidding?
They're
all gone?
out. Yeah, so they went. So I had thoughts of, it's funny. I saw JHS post this, and you actually sent me the live stream that Josh did, which was really really cool. If you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. Really interesting, humble, behind the scenes look, at what happened with the Ross pedal experiment. But they were blowing out all the pedals at midnight Central, so it would have been 1 a.m. Eastern for me. And I woke up this morning and looked, all gone.
What?
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, we missed it?
We missed it.
Oh!
So hit up Reverb, and you can, instead of paying $79, you can pay $579 now, or whatever people are gonna listen for.
Yeah. Oh, no way!
Yeah,
I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'll get a phaser, I'll get a distortion, I'll climb on board. Because if no one bought them, if they had thousands of units sitting around, like what's going on here? Now everyone, mod scientist, by the way, hi, welcome back, brother.
they had 3,000. They had 3,000.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
And now people are watching, or buying, rather. Oh.
Yeah. Well, because I had thoughts of like, all right, I'm going to stay up until 1 a.m. Eastern, because that's when they're going to go on sale. And I'm going to buy all 5, and I'm going to make a board out of all 5. 2 knob pedals, super simple, fun, right? Consistent looking. It's going to be all aesthetically pleasing. I forgot, fell asleep, did not do that, and then they're all gone.
Oh. I feel
know.
like such a fool.
Nah, it's a bummer.
I mean, not like I need more pedals, but I just wanted to say, like, as a consolation prize, I mean, like, not like Josh needs my support. Like, he's...
Right.
But at the same time, just to be like, here's a great American pedal company that he revived with his other American pedal company, made in America, unique designs. And I was like, dang, like, I wanted to say, like, hey, man, like, I appreciate what you're doing for the industry. He put, like, the industry on his back, and now... and now I can't even do that. My sentiment isn't even welcome.
Right. It is. It's just in the it's in the used market now for an exorbitant price, I'm sure. I haven't looked, but I can only assume that the pedal that wouldn't sell at, what did they start out at? They were like in the twos, weren't they? 200-ish, 279. And then he dropped 179. And then last night they were 79, which,
Oh.
I know.
Well,
commercial for JHS today, but did you play any of the Ross pedals before, or have you played them or no?
No, I just like knew about them. I knew like they were like these like cool guy circuits, like cool guy pedals. But I just love Josh's I guess like let's just get into why I loved it, because I love that Josh was like, I saw something and it meant a lot to me, and I didn't do market research. I didn't like go to see if like, is this something that's trending? He just went with like, I feel strongly about this. I'm gonna put my own money on the line. I'm gonna find the rights. I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna recreate something because it means a lot to me. And to like that's where I feel like in the pedal and the amp community, and especially the guitar community too. Like the manufacturers are like half driven by like they're just like obsessed with the gear, which is why whenever I see someone go, "There's too much gear," I'm like, "Shut up." That's my response is shut up. Like shut up. These guys are spending their money and their time and their energy to create something out of nothing. And what Josh did to take, like, it'd be really easy to like make an import version, right? Like he could have, and he probably would have made a killing if he made it import. Him deciding to say, I'm taking an American brand and then I'm going to make it in America is like very respectable. Because that's a lot. That's like 20 times harder. And
Yeah.
like just the R&D alone, like getting his staff to understand these are the new circuits, they have to be like this. Here's a custom enclosure. Like just working with your enclosure company alone is like that's like so much back and forth, so much R&D. So for it to close, I was just like, dang. Now I will say the reason. Anyway, you give your thoughts, and I'll tell you why I think it closed.
Sure.
S Lang, what's up, brother?
Am I not seeing that? See, I'm on an iPad today, so I'm like missing half the chats. I don't know what's
Oh,
going
okay.
on. It's okay. My thoughts. I mean, I was immediately drawn in by the fact that he did a full out documentary when these launched.
Right.
Which fascinating. Go watch it. It's got a ton of really cool cameos from people talking about the original Ross pedals, which I mean, honestly, I wasn't like aware of. You know, I was just something that wasn't part of my history with guitar. And then it was super interesting to, because again, like he didn't have to make a documentary. Like
Right.
he could have just made the pedals and, like you said, made them somewhere else and increase that margin to the point where they could just exist, even if they weren't selling as well as he had hoped. But I mean, when he, and again, like watch the live stream he just did, everybody, because it's really interesting. If I mean, from a business perspective, as well as from, like Alex said, like the reason why he did it. And then, but he does say towards the end that he's swearing off reviving any brands from this point on.
Right.
So, and I mean, it's because it is a risk. It's a huge risk, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And here we are, Ross pedalless. But tell me, why do you think it failed?
So, and this is like me, obviously, like it's easy for me to say it from where I'm sitting, but from running separate companies and working for separate companies, and like all the industries are not in the music world, but just when you're managing a product line, to start a new product line and manage that line will probably it'll make you want to drive off a bridge because it requires so much. It just requires your focus, and it requires you to not think about and not be interrupted by. If you really want a product line to succeed, you have to be 100. There's very few people in the world that can start and launch multiple brand entities at the same time when they're that figurehead.
Yeah,
And then combined with like his media appearances, combined with all the the Beach Boys line that they did with Sweetwater, that was a huge undertaking as well. And so it's just like I just don't think there was anything Josh could have done with him and his levers that he had access to, because big up, big up to this live, mate. Thank you, Gordon. Um, you know, the energy that they are able to put behind their JHS line, like I understood what like the marketing and branding and sound of the JHS brand is, right? So
hmm
for Ross Pedals to succeed, they would have had to had more. They honestly just needed more marketing output behind it.
behind it.
It had
Yeah,
to be more than trading off nostalgia because they were just so kind of like in they were so niche and so buried under all the other pedal brands that it needed just a bigger through line for marketing, which would have required so much energy and so much effort. And I'm not sure that manufacturers are also willing to, or I'm sorry, distributors were willing to do that with him. So like half the reason when you see something succeed is because other distributors go, yeah, that sounds good. We'll put some of our marketing spend behind
right.
X, Y, and Z. And then they get market feedback from their customers and they say, hey, um, like it's not selling or X amount got returned because of whatever reason. And it just takes a whole separate business structure, like a mentality to make like, I need this thing to succeed. Like I still don't know. The only thing I know is that the Ross compressor is like one of the best compressors, and that's all I know. I don't
Yeah,
actually know why. Like, like I know it's an optical compressor, so
I
it's
don't
got a
know.
little drag, it's got a little sag on it, but that's all I know. So like I don't know what the distortion sounds like. I don't know, and I don't know why it's important that I should use it. And again, like a lot easier to make a pedal of a thing that is already within the zeitgeist, like a tweed pedal, for example. So, because it's like everyone knows what a tweed is, like that's already been established for a guitarist. It's like tweed,
Yeah,
tweed, tweed. But for us, it's a completely new messaging platform, or not platform, but completely new messaging idea.
yeah. And it was operated. It wasn't Ross by JHS. It was, I mean, so I think that was kind of interesting too, where it wasn't. I mean, it was you go to JHS and their website to buy it if you're going to go direct, but it didn't. I saw a comment on the live stream when Josh was announcing that it was closing down. Somebody brought up a date of like how long ago the Ross social media push stopped from the Ross social accounts, and it was months before it started to cave and then ultimately was canceled. So I think you're right. I mean, it wasn't getting a push from, but he probably saw the writing on the wall,
Right.
early on. So it's
Right.
like, well, and then it probably took some time. This wasn't a snap decision to blow out the last 3,000 units. This has probably been a long time coming. So, but I agree. I don't know. I mean, like, it was just an aesthetic thing. I was like, oh, that would be cool to have a board with all 5 of those pedals, 2 knobs each.
Yeah.
I don't know if they sound good. I've heard the same thing about the compressor. I've heard the same thing about the chorus pedal. I don't know anything else about the other ones, but wasn't enough to. I'm not that sad that I don't have that board. It would have cost
Right.
me like $500 or whatever. So,
Right.
heard of Holy Holy by. No, I don't know that song. I'll look it up.
And you're right. The Beach Boys are an incredible band. Might be the
Sure
best, the best American band of all time. I might put it up there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if there's or rather,
We could-
a more important American band than them.
More important, certainly.
Yeah. Maybe Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's like.
Yeah. What about Aerosmith?
I love Aerosmith, but like Earth, Wind, and Fire and Beach Boys are like, in my mind, just for like how much they drove arranging and recording. It's just like it's hard to beat. I mean, you can also talk about Michael Jackson too. Like he's up there, but
Sure.
like Jackson and Quincy and Templeton, like those 3 guys too. Incredible amounts of effort for the American music. So the other thing, everyone knows that I love this pedal, and people are sick of hearing that I love another pedal, but I do love this tweed pedal, the Deluxe 55. It's like, how many times have I said I love this pedal? Like 20 times.
True though. True, man. Like we've talked, and what I found funny about your video is that both of because I did a video. It wasn't about. I mean, it was a year or 8 months before this pedal came out, but it was my like realization of my love for tweed. Basically, I did it with the Quilter Cub, the Aviator Cub, because they have like the 3 Fender-y inputs, and what is it, black face, blonde, and tweed.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of the video was like I just skipped over the other 2 and just went right to the black face because that's what I have, the Deluxe Reverb. I'm like, and that's me. I'm a Deluxe Reverb person. But then I quickly found the tweed is where it's at, and we love the Woodrow from UA. But this one, I mean, Origin nailed it, and you can tell because when Alex plays it, it's like. And I know you, but I mean, it's like it's all your videos are genuine. But this one, I was like, this guy is having a blast playing that pedal. He is. You can just undeniably see it. So I want one.
And I was talking to John from Origin actually today, and he was going, the R&D for this pedal took like 3 times as long because every time we went to test it, it would take us like 3 hours to stop playing it because we couldn't stop playing. I'm like, that's really funny. Like, and then if you look at any of the comments on the videos where people have just received it, it's unbelievable. I'm telling you guys, like, if you just get a chance to rent it or borrow it, I think you can rent it from buy or borrow music in the US. So if you guys are in the US, you can rent it there. I'm telling you, like, it's like no other pedal I've played. It's like no other distortion or overdrive I've played. It makes you just so happy to play. It's not a clean pedal though. So if you are if you're a clean guitar guy, why are you buying an overdrive pedal? I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
That was the turn off for me with the tweed thing at first, mostly because I didn't know how to use it, was to get a relatively decent clean-ish sound out of it. Like immediately the overdriven, stuff was amazing, but the effort it took to understand the clean portion or clean-ish is what took me a second, I think, and why I wrote it off initially.
Right. It's like you don't always have to play clean. So we got a request to play Higher by Creed. I think I know that song.
Probably Deep, right? Is it in E or is that in drop D? Because I feel like all their songs are in drop D.
Yeah, it's probably dropped. I'm not gonna drop. It's a floating bridge. It'll take forever.
Yep.
What is it? Can you take me higher? Right?
Such a good song. Creed's the resurgence has been a lot of fun. Actually, it's been
Right, I'm riding that wave. I was thinking of
Yeah.
doing that as like probably not an E. I'd probably no.
I think
C. Can you take higher? Like yeah.
I
Well,
think
there we go. Yeah, D. Can you take me higher? I think that's like a fun song. I think that's due for like a fun. I might cover that. The verses are, the verses are very early 2000s, right? So it's gonna be hard to like put some excitement behind it for me at least. But the chorus I can get behind. Can you take me higher? Boom.
It's one of the songs that the verses are. I feel like they have the chorus and they're like, well, we need something else, but this chorus, we don't need to spend that much time on the verse because this chorus.
Yeah, we already had a hook.
Yeah,
I mean the bridge too. So let's go then. I'm just getting wasted.
I saw them once in their heyday back in the day.
Oh, really?
It was a fun. Like it was really good. I mean, same with Nickelback. I saw Nickelback back then too, and I'm like, they just like, as far as a live performance to an audience, I mean, they crushed, dude. Like,
yeah,
they just knocked it out of the park. You could not possibly go to one of those shows and be like, no, this is boring. Like, no, dude. I mean, even if you don't like the music, you got to be like, okay, all right.
I like Nickelback, and did you know that the Nickelback hate started with it was a late night talk show. I think it was on Politically Incorrect Bill Maher.
Oh, really?
Where one guy, I think it was Jim Norton, if you guys remember him, and he like made a joke about Creed, and then it like became like the internet meme about. Oh no, I'm sorry. He made a joke about Nickelback. That became like the meme where everyone's like, now we can hate Nickelback for everything they do, no matter what. And I'm like, they're a diamond selling band, guys. Like, and they seem really nice. They're Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian, of course.
Like, there's plenty of people that I'm like, that guy deserves hate because he's a jerk, or their music's like really bad. And I don't think Nickelback's music is. It's not like the music is very inspiring or like pushing the envelope, but it's like I don't get why people. Well, no, I get why. Here's why people don't like Nickelback, because it gives them a reason to hate them bully that they had in their head. There's some like guy that bullied them in high school in their imagination, and they think that that guy listens to Nickelback, and so they're like creating this like figment of so they can feel better about someone who never existed. That's what it is. It's a safe way to say like, I hate that guy. Who? Someone who listens to Nickelback. I'm like, okay, so you're insane. Got it. Okay, you have mental problems. Cheers from Journaling. How do I say that? Guten Tag, right? That's welcome. Oh no, willkommen.
Willkommen,
right.
Yeah,
willkommen.
Chad Kroger's Mesa Tone. When they use them, I mean, now they're, that's a weird thing too, though. I mean, like it's like Mark Tremonti from Creed is still rocking like half stacks on stage.
Never going back again.
Back again. Jimi Hendrix.
What song is that?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Jimi Hendrix. What a name too. I don't know that song. If you can kind of give me a clue who that is, I don't know. I don't even know what artist that is. I'm assuming, is it a Hendrix song?
I hope
so. Anyway, the Deluxe 55 pedal. It's insane. So I'm coming out today. It's Origin Effects versus the Woodrow. You'll be pretty surprised at how close they sound.
Okay.
Through the same IR, it's the exact same. Like, unless you make it clean. If you like roll back the volume, the Deluxe 55 sounds so much better. In my opinion. And then obviously in front of an amp, like the Deluxe 55 is like the way to do it. Like you can't play the Woodrow in front of an amp.
So that was gonna be my question. So because you did it in your video, where you went into the Blues Junior, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
and so you like that. I mean, because it's both of them sounded great. I was just curious, like, do you feel like that's the way to do it? Like it was so for those of us with an amp, like you're gonna enjoy that
I-
pedal in front of
If
it.
you have any kind of Fendery scooped amp, it's gonna sound awesome in front of it, like
Yeah.
awesome. And but if you want to go direct, or if you go direct into a power cab, awesome. Direct in PA,
Yeah.
awesome. Like it's like it just not just and use their IR is so good that the Tweed IR that they released, it's free and it's amazing.
What's the go-to on the boards? I have here. I can go first if you
Yeah,
want.
you go, you go.
Um, let's see. I've got. I'm not using it right now. I'm just plugged into this quilter, but I've got a full drive two from back in the day, a sugar drive, a JHS Supreme Fuzz, the Strymon Iridium to right now that's all plugged into my real deluxe reverb, but then I have the Strymon to make it kind of a direct version of that if I need to do that. And then something I'm kind of on, which is the TC Electronic Plethora X5, because I just didn't want like I wanted a bunch of delay and modulation stuff in one pedal. And there's a lot of different options. And I was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I bought that. And I'm kind of, I don't know. As with all of us, the board is constantly changing. You know, it's not, I'm not real sold on it. I don't find myself using it in its current, I keep changing things. We'll just say that. But it's too, you know what? I'm going to do a video about like why your board is not gig ready, because I think there's a lot of things that people overlook when building a board. That don't hinder you when you're sitting at home, but if you go to perform with it, you quickly realize some things.
Ha!
Just say that. Both in layout, construction, availability of tones, what you use, what you don't use, what you need, but you don't have, you know, that kind of thing. So, Alex, take it
Yeah,
away.
go to my board. Real quick, Matthew Wright, "Sound of Silence." I don't know that song, and that's an acoustic guitar song. I know the hook, "The Sound of Silence," but I
Unless
don't
you do
know.
the disturbed version.
On my board, like my go-to gig board when I'm playing out is actually the Boss Tuner, the TU2, the older one, Cali
Yeah.
76 for compression. I have two fuzzes that I like to put in front, either the Focus Fuzz from Great Eastern or the Nero from Cornerstone. Great fuzzes. And then but usually my go-to for overdrive, if it's a live stage, a live sound stage, then I'll be using the Tone King Gremlin for my amp, which is like a kind of a more mid-rangey blackface style. But I'll either put the DCX Boost and an OCD, or I'll use the the Timmy for a great live lead tone, and then uh, where was that other pedal? Oh, Sparkle Drive. 'Cause I feel like
Oh,
the Sparkle Drive is great because it prevents me from using too much gain. A lot of times I'm using way too much gain live.
it's very
Um,
easy to do live. Very easy to do. Like almost just like 90% of the time I've ever played in front of anybody with an electric guitar, I've had too much gain.
right. And then I'll use a deco and a flint. So deco for like adding another level of boost if I want it. And then adding delay like a slap. I like the slapback, using the slapback on the Strymon because I feel like it doesn't get in the way too much. And then the flint for just tremolo reverb, and it's just perfect pedal.
Unbeatable. Unbeatable. Yeah. I gotta make
Curious
some
on
more.
that video. Oh, the Woodrow one. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be. It's really. I mean, I'll tell you what I pick is the Deluxe 55. Like it sounds better. Or rather, it doesn't really sound better because it just comes down to what I prefer. But I will say it feels better, and I think that's something that. No, he didn't. Look at them trolling. Paul did not die.
Don't do that. Yeah. Don't say that.
Um, like the feel of a pet. That's what's so funny about like YouTube, where it's like when someone says, "I like it," I like it. It's usually because like it feels better, and the feel is something that you can only do in person, obviously. So like when you're hearing someone play, you're just looking at them. You're thinking like, how can he say that sounds better? But usually it just means it feels better.
Yeah. Can I bring up something about your solo on Don't Stop Believing in that video?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because I want to know. I mean, like, because I think it ties into our 30-day guitar challenge too.
yeah.
Check in, see if any of you are doing that and how it's going. But I texted you about this, but the portion where you do uh, the double, is that what it is? What is that? Like, how did I mean
So
you
I'm
were
actually just staying all here.
okay? Are you bending both the B string and the D string?
Yeah, so the D string doesn't even bend up. So for those of you that don't know, I covered "Don't Stop Believing" in like a 6/8 Leonard Skinner style,
Really cool.
and then the solo. Um, um, so I'm actually not bending to the
Right.
full third. I'm
Right.
just doing a minor,
Yeah. Yeah.
just because I feel like that dissonance
It was
really
great.
was exciting.
It
Um,
was, and it was an immediate like. I think I actually said like, oh yeah, when you did because I mean this is pretty, but it's so much better. It's amazing. Yeah, mod scientist, I agree. That was such a great call to do it in 6/8. Awesome.
and
Super.
it was my I can't take credit for that. It was my voice teacher who because we were singing that song for voice lessons, and she said try it in 6/8, and
Yeah.
so that was her
Did-
call.
one other like musicality thing because we had our three tiered approach to getting better at guitar in 30 days. But don't if you're playing a solo, don't sleep on the vocal melody. You know, I mean, that's your if you don't know what to play. I mean, Steve Perry singing "Don't Stop Believing." I mean, like, what's better than that? Like, yeah, I'm not going to come up with a better vocal or line than that. So start there. It was just something that reminded me because you did that so well in that solo. Um, sounds familiar. Yeah, totally. I did the same thing. I'm like, do you write this? What is this? Oh,
I wanted it to be an aha moment. And then
yeah.
Keith, you're right about the Greer Lightspeed. I got to get that pedal because everyone in Nashville has that pedal. Like every single person every guitarist I know here has that. So I gotta get that or like a protein or something because that's like the pedal.
Hmm. Yeah. So kudos, man, on that cover. It was really good.
I
And
appreciate that.
yeah,
I gotta retract the vocals. Because like I only posted the parts where my voice didn't crack because I have bronchitis, and so I gotta retract those vocals. But I think I'm gonna release that whole song because I think people really enjoyed it.
you should.
Um, so 30-day guitar challenge. In case you guys had been following along on Tom and my videos, we're taking 30 days to practice 30 minutes a day because we never practice. And the one thing I've found is that you see improvements after a day. I'm like already feel like I'm getting so much better at some things. Not
Yeah,
every.
yeah, I mean, it's incremental, and it's incremental, and it's not everything, but certainly, like I feel it in dexterity already for sure. Um, that's huge, and don't overdo it though. That's why the 30-minute limit, and then I'm breaking it up into 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes is important because you know 30 minutes of all dexterity finger. It's like you're gonna don't do that to yourself. You don't need to do that. 10 minutes is a long time if you're playing the whole time. So.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm also using it as a way like I need to get better for when I start playing live again this winter, which I'm dreading because it's gonna be like a 3 hour set. So
Well,
I'm very concerned that I don't have the dexterity for that. So I'm gonna have to up it each month, each 30 days.
stamina. I
Um,
mean, stamina with a live, especially the marathon 3 to 4 hour night. That's a thing. That's a big thing. Uh, but you'll get. I mean, you'll be fine. You've done it before.
I have.
But
It's been a couple years since
yeah,
I played a 3 hour
yeah.
set.
Ah, you'll be fine. It'll be great. You'll be
Right. I
great.
mean, no one's gonna be there at the beginning anyway. It's like no one's gonna come out to my shows
That
initially, so it'll be
that's nice.
good. I mean, it's not like gonna be. No one's gonna know who we are, which is great. It'll be like you know what I mean, the anonymous show, and which gets to my next
Those
thing I want
things.
to talk about is starting a band.
Yeah.
Um, but having an anonymous, like the first probably 6 months of like your band's shows, you're anonymous. No one will remember you. No one will know you, and no one will. Like, very few people will come and like, hey, like, can I know more about you guys? Which is great because you essentially get to practice live, and
Yeah.
it gets wiped from your record. You know what I mean?
Great. Yeah.
Especially if you don't have like your name on the bass drum head or a sign or like
Yeah.
a neon sign when you're very cool. Um, like if no one knows your name, like no one will post it, no one will tag it. So it's kind of like this great anonymous. So few things are anonymous now when you're out in the world.
True.
Like that you get to
True.
actually play with your band live and no one will care is a wonderful gift.
It's a freeing. It is absolutely freeing thing. You know. And then, can you play La Bamba? We got a La Bamba.
Da, 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 da. Oh, is it right?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta start higher than.
Kind of pop.
That's right. That's what it is.
So
La 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 bamba.
so Alex, you are so willing when someone drops a request in the comment section. You're so willing to go for it. I am so hurt. Like I have like like gig PTSD from people coming up to me and asking me to play stuff that just pre-programmed. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
I used to love that because I would try. Now in my in the big cover band that I was in, like obviously it was a set list and it was
Right.
MIDI,
Yeah.
and people would request stuff, and I'm like, hey man, like we got a 3 hour like this is our set list. I would hold up this
It's like,
huge piece of paper.
sorry.
Yeah, like we can't. There's like no requests. Sometimes,
Right.
sometimes someone would come in with a big like it was, and we would tack it on if we knew it at the end.
Sure.
If we had the MIDI tracks, if it was like part of the repertoire, and there
Right.
wasn't actually that many songs. There's only like 100 songs, so like, which is pretty. If you guys are in cover bands, 100 songs is not a lot of songs. That's like pretty
Runs out
slim.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so getting to bands. And Rhett Shull talked about this the other day, kind of. And he talked about it a lot today too. He came out the video today where he got angry about a comment. I like his videos when he does that because I want to know more about what his like what do you think? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Not because I like am a huge like fanboy, but he is leading a lot of the conversations.
Oh yeah.
And he's leading a lot of the discussions on where manufacturers, where marketing is going. So I want to know where one of the market leaders is going. And I do honestly like a lot of his stuff, not everything, but I like a lot of it.
Sure.
And he was saying how if you are in a rock band or rock adjacent, what he's used, that was such a great term, that you should be trying to play with no tracks, no live tracks. And I agree with that because but I think he should have gone further. And I think we should find some sort of way to encourage that we don't have the power yet, Tom, but we will. And we should find a way to have like a band accelerator program where it's like for all the secondary and primary markets for guitar gear, there should be a way to be like, I want to start a band. How do I do it when I'm whatever my age? When I'm 12, like my first band, I was 12 years old and we're lugging around, digital Marshalls to the community center. Or if you're 70, like I want to start a band. It's like, yes, it should never be you're too old, you're too young, you're not good enough. It should be, yeah, go play. Like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
be ready for some feedback, but not from me, but like from like who knows what they're gonna say to you.
Sure.
And there's just such a fun thing about being in a band. And I'm not saying that if you buy a lot of gear, you have to be in a band. You can play alone if you want. But we should encourage people like you should try because you might like it. It might be a lot of fun for you, and you don't know what it could turn out to be something really great.
So was Rhett's videos centered around playing to backing tracks in a rock setting? Is that what he was?
Yeah, he was. It was about him. Some guy left a comment saying use backing tracks. No, you don't need a bassist. If you only need a bassist, you only people who care about bassists are bassists.
That's not
And
very
yeah, like
very
no,
mis.
that's not true.
I mean, I'm not a real big like, oh, I'm not see a band that uses backing tracks like kind of guy. Like
Oh,
I think
play 500 miles.
they already
Oh,
left.
by
They
Rick
said they
Ray.
heard the sub, but then he said, okay, so bye, because we didn't do
Oh,
it.
okay.
So it's not request hour. It's Tone Town, baby.
Yeah.
Limited requests in Tone
Yeah.
Town.
Okay. That's not. Yeah. That's not how this works.
But I'm not. I mean, I know some people. It's like the digital versus tube discussion. There's always that where it's like, some people are just hard line. Like, if anything is digital, I'm out. And it's like, okay, whatever. But I feel the same way about the. I have to go watch this video. I'm curious to see what he says about it. I mean, it depends on the rock act. Like I don't
Right.
want to see. I mean, to go back to like Creed. I mean, they're not using tracks, but I can guarantee you their whole show is to a click.
Right.
Maybe they are using tracks. I don't know. But I mean, like if you go see U2 or Coldplay, it's like there's four people on stage. A lot of times it's only three instruments. Yeah, I mean, like there could be something cool, like more like 80s U2, where it's like it truly is guitar, bass, drums, and vocal. But at the same time, like I'm not mad if you've got elements in tracks that make the performance more exciting. I don't think it's like a lie. It just depends on how you're using it. But then I mean, what's a band that you think like would be just blasphemous to be using tracks? Like it would just make no sense.
Like a
Think
band like Arcade Fire, or or like Radiohead's actually a great example where like they don't need backing tracks and all the weird stuff
it's
is coming
yeah,
from all their
yeah,
weird instruments on stage.
sure,
They have like a mellotron. They have
yeah,
they
yeah,
have weird stuff on stage to make those weird sounds. And you know, it's always weird when okay, like you go to like a food court, right? And there's someone singing, and there's a acoustic guitarist, and then there's backing tracks of drums and bass, and you're eating like Sbarro's pepperoni pizza, listening to a rendition of "Since You've Been Gone," and you're like, this is kind of weird because like I would be okay with the guitarist and
just
the singer just them doing their thing.
yeah. That's
Because
always
I think it all depends on the venue. It's like because when we were playing, we had a ton of backing tracks in this huge cover band, but we were playing a big scaffolding stage with smoke and stuff. So it's
different.
kind of like,
It's
you know,
different. Yeah,
it's expected there. And you know what it kind of depends on? If there's alcohol.
could be. Yeah, could be.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. That's interesting. I'm gonna go watch. Have to go watch Rhett's video over lunch when we conclude.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
but joining a band. I mean, like you said, I think any age, man. Like some of my fondest memories are my first band. Being asked to join other bands in different role, like being asked to be a bass player in a band. Like, I mean, it's like how much I've had so much fun doing those things. Just business wise and time wise, and just the way things have gone. I haven't really been in a band. When I played in a band setting, it's like people who I have hired to achieve a show or whatever. So it's not really a band, but like that camaraderie of the band setting is super cool and super fun. And any age, whether you're 12 or 72, do it if you want to, try
right.
it.
But I think it'd be fun to develop like a little program or like not even a checklist, but it's like, so the hardest part about starting a band is where do we practice and then where do we perform.
Sure.
The practice thing can be a bummer, but it's like, what if you knew, like, what if you don't know where the practice spaces are? Like, it's like just like have a little directory for every city. It's like, hey, you're starting a band, this is where you can go, and then this is like a fun place that you can perform. It's like low pressure. You can just load. It's easy load in. I just feel like
Yeah.
to like nurture the scene of like guitar driven bands is like, I think
Mhm.
that's something I'd like. Again, like this speaks to like my Rick Beato Records idea, where it's like I want all these people who have big platforms to start thinking about like how can you cultivate the scene after we've eaten everything we've needed to eat. How can we cultivate other bands?
Yeah.
Because that's more important than some than our like YouTube channels. It's like that people are
Yeah.
playing live music. That's
Yeah.
what you and I would prefer to do anyway.
Yeah. I think I had a conversation with a friend of mine who gigs quite a bit around here in the Detroit area, and we were just wondering because we're both, I'm close to 40, he's over 40, by just a few years, and it's like we've been doing it for a long time, and I don't have a sense for like the musicians who are in that like 18 to 25 realm. Like, are they? I don't know. Are they out there playing in guitar driven bands? Are they out there doing the solo acoustic gigs that we were doing? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the answer is no, but that's also because I'm in like a totally different stage of life and totally, out of touch. Um, but I agree. If it's, I mean, whether it's still happening or not, or happening to the same degree, I think fostering that to continue is awesome. Like, I hope one of the videos I've done has inspired somebody to do something like that. Hopefully, you know.
Yeah. Amos Hamarillo, you play intermediate level. Great, good.
Me too.
Nick, 47, right on. Nick, great to
There you
meet you.
go, man.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Tone Town.
Okay. Yeah.
Morning. Morning. Sorry.
And so I think I have a skewed perspective living in Nashville because everyone's in a band, multiple bands, and they all
Sure.
play regardless. Like the pedal steel guy in the one band that I was in, he's 70, and then but the organ player is 23. So it's like, so again, like I'm in a skewed market. Like it does not represent the average American market.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think.
but
I mean,
for
Detroit,
those of you,
yeah. No, go
for
ahead.
those of you who are in Europe and UK particular, are there a lot of bands? Because I know that you guys love live music way more than the US. From all my friends who've toured UK,
True.
they love guitar bands. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
So let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I would imagine that's the case. What was I going to say? I'm going to say something. Doesn't matter. I feel like that's true. Just even throughout the world too. Blues. I mean, you go see like blues festivals. Used to be a guy. He's passed away now. His name is Johnny Bassett here in Detroit, and he'd be playing to like literally 6 people on a Friday night here in Detroit. But you go to Europe with the same band, and he was headlining blues festivals in front of like 5,000-6,000 people every year, and they were there to see him. Kind of thing. Where then that was when it just like it blew my mind. I was like, wow, there's some. I even feel it here. Like I'm like probably Detroit metro-ish, but then if you go over to like Ann Arbor, it's just the vibe. When I was doing more original music, like Ann Arbor was so receptive. Here, closer to where I live, it's like play "Don't Stop Believing." Don't play your song. Play the Journey song again.
Yeah, same thing with Chicago. Like I grew up in Chicago. They hated local bands. Hated them. Like every venue we played, every talent buyer hated it. Hated what you did. Hated your sound.
Yeah.
And then we'd play anywhere else, and they'd be so excited to see you. Maybe there's something about someone's coming to visit us. But like every hometown, like really eschews their own, with the exception of like Chance the Rapper. But like everyone else, like Smashing Pumpkins, Fall Out Boy, what are other rock bands from Chicago? Oh, is that it?
Yeah, it's only those two.
But like, there's something about Chicago where they're just like so mean to their own bands. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah, like High Appetite. Are they? What's?
If I must.
Rising up.
Yeah, I feel bad that song got memed because it's actually great song, like really fun song. And that guitar line that they have of just like it's such a cool sound.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that in the trio. That'd be fun to do.
That would be good. That would be really
like
good.
A trio version.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit slower. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. When you're coming, man, and we have shows, you're gonna come and sit in on some bunch of songs.
I would love it. I would love it. I'm
Is
there.
Chicago from Chicago? No, they're from New York. I thought, right? The band Chicago.
Probably. I don't know.
I thought they were a New York band. Like Kansas
Why?
wasn't from Kansas.
No.
Hold on.
So Amos says, "Why has music lost its magic?" Both of you. I don't think it has.
Why is
It's
what
not
lost its magic?
music. Why has music lost its magic? I don't.
Oh, they are from Chicago.
Are they?
Hold on. No way. The band
That's
Chicago is from Chicago. How did I?
I
Oh,
took.
and Peter Cetera was on bass originally.
What?
What?
Wow. Doing the Sting thing. Was he singing when he was playing bass?
I don't think so.
Dude, Peter Cetera. How about that voice, huh?
Killer. Glory of
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, man. So they're from Chicago. Tyson said it's too on the nose. There's no way they're from Chicago. I'm like, no, it is.
Boy, were we wrong. That's
Yeah.
now. They originally called themselves Chicago Transit Authority, and CTA is the name of the. That's the elevated train.
Yeah.
Why has music lost its magic? Amos, like I understand what you're saying though.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is there are two separate worlds that are happening right now, and as you said you're in your 50s, right? I'm
So
41, and Tom is in his 30s. Good for him.
39. I'll be there. I'll be there soon enough.
And the new music that's out there that is great, there is so much of it, and there's actually so much more than there used to be, but it's really hard to find it. There's a band that I've been seeing online, and they're called Feel, Feel, and they're a great power trio, classic rock. It's like if Black Crowes, Led Zeppelin, and something else got mixed together. Amazing band, young guys, long
Yeah.
hair, bell-bottom jeans. There are some crazy good bands that are out there, and it's just that they're not on the normal networks that old guys like us would seek them, and they are not being pitched to us either. That's the other thing. Like we get the amount of data that are on from us that's online. We will not be pitched those bands because these bands are being pitched to 18 to 29 demo, and when you're not in that demo, the algorithm won't serve it to you. It won't be put on you in ads. Like the manufacturing products that are being shown to us will not even contain anything that's outside of our schema. So like it's out there. It just is so outside of the realm. You guys. So I used to work in digital marketing. You have no idea the silos that we get put in digitally. There is stuff that you will find and stumble on online. You'll be like, there's a whole scene here. There's millions of people that listen to this guy, and you have never heard of him. It's not like it was before, where you generally have a feel for like where people are listening and finding any kind of art, not just music, but anything. I'm telling you, like we're so siloed off because everything comes from here, right? The way we perceive the world is through through their phone,
Right.
and there's
Yeah.
just complete, so it feels like wow, music really stinks because we're being served top 40 garbage, but there's actually so much great music, and it's
There
just
is.
and it's not hard to find. It's just that it feels like it's not being fed to us.
In defense of, because I saw a comment fly by about like pop writing and production. I mean, there's definitely a category of pop writing production that is like low effort, not that great. However, there are bright spots, and you got to look for them. Like so, I like I'm almost 40, and then referencing Sabrina Carpenter feels ridiculous, but um, listen to the song "Taste" by Sabrina Carpenter. Aaron Sterling plays drums on it. John Mayer's drummer. It's got real drums. It's got a real guitar, part on it, and I heard it. I'm like, the production is ridiculously good. It's amazing.
Right.
Like, and that's, and it doesn't follow suit on the rest of her songs necessarily, but that particular one, which is very popular, so there are bright spots. I understand what you're saying though. I mean, like "Eye the Tiger," like you said, I think I saw someone say it gave you chills the first time you heard it. I mean, and that's, it still happens. It's just that
It's a
it's just
different way because it doesn't
yeah,
happen with other people. Where before,
yeah,
like an album would be released and it would be a communal event, right? like even when we were growing up, you would go to Coconut Records, right? And
Harmony
you would be
House.
there
Right.
to buy
Right.
Vitality from Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Like that was a communal thing, and now it happens again. Like it just doesn't happen to us because we're old now, and it's a bummer because we're not getting included in these awesome. There's acts out there that are just so good. Now I'm spoiled because I'm in Nashville, so you'll hear these bands that are playing. They're killer, and they're on Sony Records. Like they have a major deal, and I've never heard their stuff, and they sound amazing. It's not that it's not out there. It's just like it's really it doesn't come into our orbit. And I have to say there is more than there ever was of good music. I mean, Sabrina
Yeah.
Carpenter is actually a great example of great writing and huge commercial success. Like
Yeah.
writes some killer songs. But if you're looking for stuff that's like classic rock, there are so many great new classic rock style bands now. Roanoke is another band that I love. They're from here actually. They do classic rock stuff. Hippies and Cowboys is another great classic rock style band, and they play actually every Friday at Kid Rock's bar here.
Oh, okay.
Outrageous playing. They
Yeah.
wave a huge American flag while they're playing. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
The Yeah, getting together and gelling while writing. Yeah, and the thing is like so there's things called writing rooms here, right? So obviously, like writing in Nashville is a big idea. It's a big part of the market because anytime you write something that could be potential money for everyone involved, and so the writing sessions that happen here, they're unbelievable. These guys come out with songs in 15 minutes, and not just like jingles. We're talking like hits. I'll hear
Yeah.
the B sides of some of these writing sessions,
Uh,
and I'm like, that's
well,
a great song. They're like, yeah, but we had 10 more that were better. I'm like, got it. And it's
yep.
just
It's wild. I mean, that's that songwriting is that muscle, man. I mean, it's like anything else. Like it's amazing. So I saw somebody reference, Metallica writing 80 songs for a 10-song album. There's a lot of people who, I mean, I would argue most prolific songwriters are doing stuff like that, where it's and their quote unquote junk is usually pretty amazing.
still pretty
Uh,
cool. Yeah.
yeah.
But a lot of it comes down to also like I like that song, but it doesn't feel like it's my song. Like, and that'll happen a
Very
lot down
true.
here.
Yeah.
They'll write something. They're like, "That's cool," but I felt like that's not for me. Like, and they'll just give it to someone else, and,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe they'll
But I think
really.
that's the sign of a really great songwriter too, is somebody who can write something that's, especially if it's a songwriter who is also an artist. If you're a songwriter writing for other people, it's a little bit different. But like if you're a songwriter who's an artist in their own right, knowing when that song is your song versus, hey, this is a great song, but it's just not my song. That's, I mean, what a great problem to have. He
In the
played Linkin
end,
Park in the end. Dude, I've
um,
had a Linkin Park resurgence in my life too since they came out
what's
with
the how's like sometimes I don't know why it doesn't
yeah.
even matter
I
how
think
right. Like, it starts with love.
I think it's E minor.
Sometimes don't know why.
It's that like it's a piano line.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
It doesn't even matter.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, they
And
have
that
really crunchy. Oh, that's what it is.
piano line.
That's
That
right. That's what it
would be
is.
cool on
That's the
guitar.
great hook.
It
Rest in
is.
peace, Chester Bennington, man.
I
Really,
know,
really
vocalist, but
sad, really fishy circumstances too. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, that's different Tone Town.
Yeah, that's a separate live stream where we get banned. Yeah.
Uh, oh
Don't
man,
say anything else. Wait
that,
till
that, that-
January.
yeah. Expressionless, expressionless.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the end, regardless, in the end, great song.
Yeah. Um, Also, like they went diamond too with some of their albums.
Yeah, yeah, pretty,
Have you heard the
pretty.
new Linkin Park with the girl singer too?
Yeah, dude. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I like it. I think I mean, I've heard one song, and it was it's called "The Emptiness Machine." It was like their first single.
Yeah.
She kind of rips, man. I don't know anything about her other than that song. I know she was in a obviously it's not her first band,
Right.
or
Yep.
not her first rodeo. I wouldn't think, at least, but I'm like, probably a good call to go with a female vocalist to hopefully stem some of the direct comparisons to Chester Bennington. Alex, I don't see you anymore, but that's okay. Solo show. It's just me now. I am the mayor of Tone Town now. We've lost Alex briefly, but that's okay. Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything we wanted to talk about today. The Ross pedals that were discontinued from JHS. The there he is. He's back.
I got a phone call. It froze my phone. Like,
I was recapping. Can we bring him in? Who was it? Can we wire him in?
it's a survey from my healthcare company. Like,
Well, bring him in. Let's talk.
Let's
do it. Yeah. So tell me more about your healthcare. Yeah. It's like, you're surveying me. I'm going to survey you.
Yeah.
Hello, Mayor. When you left, I said, I'm the mayor of Tone Town now.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain. Yeah.
And then I freaked out and began recapping what we talked about because I thought I was going to have to wrap it on my own. Which,
okay, no, yeah.
But,
well, we're almost coming up. We got 4 more minutes here. But I will say, like, imagine how hard that would have been. So you're Linkin Park. You obviously have a huge fan base still. So you're going to tour. You want to write more music. You suffered a tragedy losing one of your closest friends and the lead singer of the band. You know, so how you can't go back, right? You can't bring back Chester in a new way. You cannot find a. You shouldn't find a. It's really like I found it much more respectful that they didn't try to just do. Here's a guy that sounds like Chester.
Yeah,
because
smart, right move, the smart move. Because I
only
saw
works for legacy acts, right? Like a legacy act can do that, but like that's because like they're too old, not they passed away.
Yeah, because I mean, I saw comments on their new stuff like, you guys should. And there's this, I think they're German, but they're huge in Europe. They're a Linkin Park tribute band that plays in arenas. Like, I mean, literally. Yeah. And the guy who sings Chester's parts, I mean, sounds exactly like him. Like, it's amazing. Right. You should have gotten that guy. It's like, but who wants to go? They're a band, though. They want to write. They're artists. They want to, you know, they don't want to just. And I think they made the right call with getting somebody who can do the old songs in her own way, but who is, it's really incomparable. It's not a fair, like, she's not him, you know.
We're starting a new path. Like you have to, again, like you have to look at their perspective. It's like, imagine a guy that's going up there sounds exactly like Chester, like your best friend every day, like who's gone. Like that to me is just like you just really can't do that. That's just not. Yeah. That's just not something that I would want to do. So I think they made that's a tough call for them. They made the right call. That was courageous of them to do that. Cool that they got a girl too. I was like, all right, yeah, let's see.
Yeah, she's killer. What I've seen, she's really good. So
yeah.
And I think she pays proper homage and honor to the thing that existed before her. You know, she walks that line pretty well. I feel like of like enough command of the songs that are hers, the new ones, but enough like, you know, fan respect and legacy respect to the stuff that came before. So not an easy, because the other choice, in my opinion, is just end it. Like no more Linkin Park. Done.
Right. You know, start a new band. Right. Like it would be. Yeah. So, ending on that note, guys, thanks so much for coming in. Woodrow Deluxe 55 video is coming out later today. Love to see your guys' thoughts on it. I had many thoughts and opinions in it. And as always, I'm your co-host, Super Danger.
I'm your other co-host, Tom Butwin.
And we'll see you guys out there on the internet.